outreach is also another of the many things we'll be seeking to get into. I must say I'm glad to have us join in studio. Dr. Thomas Anaba is a regular here on a Friday. Doc, always a pleasure to have you join us. Good morning to you. I trust at all as well.
Good morning to you, Mawena, and good morning to my co-panelists and then the viewers and listeners.
And also, Fad Osman is a member of the NPP's communications team. He's been here a number of times as well. Fad, it's good to see you today. You are here in person again.
It's good to be here, and let me say good morning to our listeners and those watching us through online portals and platforms. We say good morning to them too.
Right. We're expecting Emmanuel Kuting as well. He's the executive director of the Africa Center for Security and Counterterrorism. He in particular, when he joins us, he's one of the two Ghanaians who have submitted a petition to the ICC over the xenophobic attacks in South Africa. So when he joins us, I'm sure I'll give him some 5 minutes to explain to us the reasoning on there as well, and a bit more from that as well. But we can begin, and yesterday we had the finance minister come before Parliament, presents the media budget review, amongst many other things. The big question being asked is, beyond the numbers, what it means for Ghanaians and whether or not the government has done enough to strengthen the economy. Fad, let me start off with you on the budget. Positive words in terms of what we've seen, the headline economic numbers and all of that. And contrary to what the NPP's assertion has been that government is not spending, the minister took time in his speech to highlight expenditure that he's undertaken. The NPP will commend him, will they not?
Well, thank you very much. I believe what happened yesterday was another PR exercise.
PR?
Yes, because one would have expected government who made promises and as a result of that were voted into office, such an opportunity should have updated us on some of the promises they made before coming into office. But unfortunately, they find a very nice way to fine-tune their message, but without necessarily talking about some of the things we expected to hear. And let me, even before I go there, yesterday, the TV3 cameras were out there, right, in the Mokola market.
Yeah.
To engage with the real Ghanaian who partake in the real economy, not on the paper economy, in the real economy. And we had the impression from them yesterday that, yes, that's what the women said. And that's the practical reality on ground.
But is that not an assertion? I mean, I'm a media person.
Yes.
And if there's a certain level of truth,
yes,
we can go back to as many years as possible,
yes,
and the narrative is consistent, yes, with our market, yes, women. They always say Yentoshi.
So now we are.
So is that a yardstick for which we can look at these numbers and say there is nothing happening?
There's real economy out there, so they have a very practical experience of how the economy is treating them. That is their real economy. But then it is important to also highlight that we've indicated prior to the minister's engagement that government is not spending. And I think one particular issue that drew my attention yesterday after the minister's engagement was the special aid or somebody to the Minister for Agriculture, right? Have you seen that message? The gentleman
I am.
Oh, then I'll look for the message for you. Trying to question the minister's claims of some 2 billion Ghana cedis allocation to the Ministry of Agri. And it's 1.6.
1.6. Yes, it's 1.6.
I'm not the one
so
saying.
1.1 in terms of plus 500 million
I'm not the one
on
saying.
some other.
So the gentleman indicated in his write-out, and I'm told he is the personal assistant to the Minister for Agriculture.
You have to. I've not seen it.
He is a member of your government. He is a member of your government, and he is calling out the minister on such figures. So that's some of the concerns we want to bring to your attention. Now, please get it right. Even if it's wrong somewhere, get it right so that it does not create some negative impression. But all in all, what we want to say is that we expected, and especially I believe many Ghanaians out there, including myself, expected to hear our Minister for Finance telling us that we did promise you a certain policy known as the 133 policy. Ghanaians, young people who are still looking out for jobs, were looking out to hear something on that. Unfortunately, it was very quietly pushed away. Secondly, what's the name of this famous bank? The Women's Development Bank. I believe 1 year, 6 months. We expect at this time that there is a framework being put in place, and it's been outlined to everybody this is what will be happening.
On Women's Development Bank, the minister addressed that yesterday, mentioned specifically that it's been incorporated, the minimum capital adequacy, minimum capital, right?
Yes.
400 million cedis has been deposited as well in the bank. So I think the expectation is a physical place and then a possible recruitment. But there was a mention.
So there was a mention.
On 24-hour economy as well.
There was a mention of 100 million.
What the minister mentions was that if you go into the mid-year budget, you know what he read was a abridged version.
Yes.
The explanation he provided was that not everything could be mentioned.
Okay.
And so in the full version with the appendixes, you find the 24-hour economy.
How much has been allocated?
Mentioned
How
there.
much? You can give me the figure. And I'll tell you why it's insignificant. Based on their own narrative they pushed so far with the 24-hour economy.
I've seen it in the full
100 million
in
Ghana
the full
cedis.
Yes, and that's gone to, I think the explanation he offered is gone to the secretariat and then the payment of salaries and emolument as well.
When last year, around April last year, when this program was launched, I quite remember very well, I paid attention to the secretariats, the secretary, right? That's Honorable Guzitano indicated that the Secretariat requires close to 4 billion Ghana cedis to ensure that that policy is fully implemented. So if government in 1 year, 6 months is allocating 100 million, how much did the percentage check? This tells you the lack of commitment on the part of government to even ensure that this policy sees the light of the day. But let me proceed from there. You see, we believe strongly that what happened yesterday was more of like an announcement with nothing to show. Completely announcement, just to let's announce figures out there. And interestingly, somebody described it as political grandstanding. Well, I'm told as one of the technical advisors to the finance minister, right, that figures like this are political grandstanding. They are just
one of the technical
advisors, Dr. Theophilus Echampon, right?
Dr. Theo Echampon. I've seen his post on social media.
Theo Echampon, sorry.
I didn't see political.
Please, let me proceed. So figures like this.
You said something he wants to check.
Figures like this.
Because I saw Theo Echampon's post.
Political grandstanding, just to hoodwink everybody in this country to believe that this government is doing something extraordinary. But the reality is that, my brother, if you paid attention to the facial expressions of ministers in parliament yesterday, when the minister indicated that he is not spending too much, and as a finance minister or a best finance minister, it is not about how much you spent. You could tell the expression on the face of the ministers. These ministers are being denied resources. Today, we do agree that they've downplayed or they've cut down on expenditure close to 13.1% based on their own targets. So if you have a government that is not being able to meet its expenditure targets in terms of spending by 13.1%, what it means is that the roads that needs to be constructed, the schools that needs to be constructed, the hospitals that needs to be constructed has been denied because government policy or government strategy is that let's cut down on expenditure to create fiscal space. That's what they are doing. So they are cutting down on expenditure to create fiscal space. This is not sustainable. It is not sustainable because you will spend tomorrow. It is today you are denying yourself the spending, right? Tomorrow, the need will arrive for you to spend. And at that time, it will expose the weaknesses you've covered up today.
But of the many things the finance minister says, in terms of covering for the ills from your time, DDEP payments, he's been current on all such payments. Says in 2027, he's going to be paying in excess of 30 billion, and the sinking fund is taking care of that and all of that. Those are monies being spent. When you say spending,
okay, so capital expenditure, for instance, capital expenditure lags behind 48%. 48% of capital expenditure has not been spent. Do you know what that means? Significant investment. in an economy. That is why the Ghana National Planning Development Commission people indicated that our macroeconomic indicators do not reflect in job creation, because the growth that we recorded, that is the 6.something% growth, my brother, is as a result of some artificial measures by this government. They are not reflective. That is what we are saying. If it is reflective, growth should go hand in hand with job creation. Growth should go hand in hand, inflation going down. That's the reality they are telling us. So these are the discrepancies between the message they are selling out and the reality on grounds. So as much as you would tell me that, yes, government, the previous administration had some excesses, which we all do agree to it, that DDEP was one of the most uncomfortable or inconvenient policy we had to go through. We do acknowledge that. And I believe very well, Dr. Amin Anta, when he took over as finance minister, did apologize that we are very sorry for taking Ghanaians through that difficult period. But that should not be a justification for this government not to focus on some significant investments. So if capital expenditure is doing less than 48%, it's not being spent. You know what that means. That is why the 4 bypasses on the Kumasi-Accra highway, it's still lacking.
But they are projects.
Which one? The big push.
There are construction projects happening everywhere.
Which way?
The Kumasi bypass is a part of the big push project.
They've not touched it. You saw last week. You saw the accident that happened in Konongo last week, taking the life of close to 12 or 14 people. If that bypass was effectively being used, it will have reduced that accident over there. I am from Wenchi. Honorable, respectfully. I am from Wenchi. I was in Wenchi over the weekend. I came back to Accra Monday. Between Wenchi and Techiman, there's a contractor there constructing one of the big push projects. My brother, if you get there and you see the contractor, you might think he is doing by day work with his people. They come there 4 with 2 wheelbarrows, they work and they leave the place. That is what is happening. So even the big push that they claim that monies will be made readily available to constructors, as we speak, people are still struggling to access those funds. So what we are telling them is that we do agree that you want to cover all these PR gimmicks. It's good. You have this good records in first year, second year. But the reality on grounds is that government is the largest expender in every economy. Until government decides to spend in an economy, the economic growth on paper will be based on this goal we are seeing today. Beyond that, unemployment will keep rising, which we've already, as the Ghana Planning Development Commission had already indicated, right? That the problem is that our macroeconomic stability and growth does not reflect in unemployment and job creation. So this is a very major concern that we want to put across, that let's put away the PR gimmicks, the whitewashing of the issues to suit a certain narrative. Because the narrative down there this morning is the Ghanaian man living it. The Ghanaian out there this morning, listening to us, living the experience of it. If you ask the person that tomato today in Medina market, 20 cedi, they'll give you 2 pieces. So that's the reality he's living down there. What are you going to do to try to minimize that kind of economic hardship? That's what we are looking for. We want practical solutions. Enough of the announcement. Announcement with no actions will not resolve the problems of this country. That is what we are telling this government. That we do agree that, yes, you are good at all these announcements, Ato Forson and Mahamudu and everything. We agree. But the reality is that the Ghanaian out there this morning, my brother, are expecting solutions from you. Enough of the blame games. Stop blaming the previous administration that we are paying 30 billion in DDEP just to create that narrative that when we call you, that why you're not giving us.
But those are monies that have to be paid.
When we call you, these are risks. See, let's agree that every government inherits assets and liability from previous administration. Let's not run away from that. We did inherit similar liabilities from them in the past. So that should not be a justification for not performing. So if I ask you,
so for you, they haven't performed.
Why is the performance?
No, the reason I'm coming that is you say being current on payment on debt obligation should not be a justification for not performing. And so I ask a question: are you saying there's been non-performance in the handling of the economy?
The figures on paper looks good. The figures on paper looks good, but the reality on grounds speaks differently. That's the reality. So you can talk about all the figures. Just like I said, the doctor who said these figures are what political grandstanding. So they have political grandstanding.
I've checked Theo Champon.
He said it on TV. I can get you the video. No, maybe not yesterday. But he had made similar statement like that.
No, okay. So you are referring to comments made in the past.
Made by him.
Okay, because if you say he said,
you are trying to find out whether he said it yesterday.
Yes, I was. I've been on the social media handle this morning already.
Sorry.
So
let me say, comment made by him in the past that figures like this are political grandstanding. Is that how you want me to put it, Doc? Are you okay that way? Now let me proceed. So the reality is that, my brother, the issues down there do not ensure or does not reflect what they are telling us, the story they are telling us. The story and the reality, it's two separate issues. Right. And the Ghanaian living it this morning will bear to the fact that tomato this morning in Medina Market, 20 Ghana cedi, you are given 2 pieces. Ginger, just a piece of it is 10 Ghana cedis. So these are the questions they want to see. What investment are you doing in agriculture to ensure that this cost of agri products comes down? Agri minister is saying you're not giving him money. You are saying they're giving him money. And these arguments are not helping this administration.
They said that matter has been resolved.
And yesterday it came up again.
It didn't come up. It was the minority who had raised it. I was in Parliament.
We're not raising it too. I will get to the statement.
I was in Parliament yesterday.
Yes.
Right? And so that didn't come up. And in preparing for today, I've listened to the minister on another platform explain
the agri minister.
No, the finance minister explain
why
what the situation was
then,
right? So there, at least from what he says, there's no conflict as to money release, money not.
Then we expect him to release enough money to the agri ministry. Let's try and ensure that, because you see, food is important. To control any nation, you have to control them through their food, right? So if food is expensive today on the market, the condition of life in Ghana becomes very expensive.
Right.
So this is the reality. So, Doc, I agree with you with all the figures you want to tell me. Inflation is this, exchange rate is this, microeconomics is this. We agree.
Seeking to make the point before you come in.
You need microeconomics, you need tomatoes, you need ginger, you need boarding.
You know, you politicians are very interesting beings. Some 2 years ago, you would have gone to the street with these numbers, but today you are saying
the street is responding differently to what the figures are saying.
And the streets were saying the same things some 2 years ago, you know. But today the positions have changed, and so I mean it's all fair, Doc. That's the narrative, right? That the suggestion is that your very wonderful economic numbers are not translating into the direct pockets of the ordinary Ghanaian. Your policies, yes, economic headline numbers, but we're not seeing enough in terms of job creation, the growth resulting in jobs, amongst other things, for the ordinary Ghanaian. How does the NDC respond after the media budget review, which you describe as outstanding?
Thank you, Owen. You see, the minister really came to explain to us how he has handled the economy and how Ghanaians are benefiting from it. He gave us figures which everybody accepts, including the NPP, that the macroeconomic figures are good. But they think that it is not reflecting in the pockets of the people. That is their problem. The other issue is that they mention figures that some ministers are not comfortable with. And I think you yourself, you were there, and everybody heard the minister very well. He said we have done nothing. And as a result of that, people are not feeling the benefit of what we have done. But let me tell you, to save 15 billion to pay for a debt that you created, that 15 billion he's talking of could have been used for the capital expenditure he's talking of. Meanwhile, he's saying DDEP did us good. It did us good, but it's depriving us of an investment today because of the mismanagement you created in this country, to an extent that you have to take our poor pensioners' monies to save this country. Some of them died of heart attacks. Some of them couldn't even buy their medications and the rest. If you want to really know whether the country's economy is good or not, you ask of the confidence of consumers and business people. How are consumers feeling it? do we see price changes in produce and services in Ghana every week? Because prices are now stable. They are better stable than before. So whatever amount you have, you want to calculate your expenditure in the month, you can program yourself. Previously, you couldn't do that. You go today to buy a tin of tomatoes, and next week you're going to buy the same tomatoes, and the price will change. It means that the value of your salary is maintained. Previously, it wasn't like that. Importers and businessmen, when you're going to import items, because of the reduce in the exchange rate or the stability of the exchange rate, you are able to plan, you are able to import and keep your prices stable. Besides that, when you want to go and borrow loan for your business, the interest is stable and is low, so you make more benefit from the loan you go to pick. So business people are comfortable with the stability in the interest rate. Consumers are comfortable with the stability in the in the inflation rate. Besides that, if you want to check the general tempo of Ghanaians, it is not a time that you hear much about mismanagement. What we are hearing is that you are not spending. Mawena, if you have a company, they hand over a company to you that has serious financial crisis. What is the first thing you do? You assess to see where you can build and come up. The most important thing that we identified when we were in opposition is that we were spending carelessly and recklessly. And we were borrowing carelessly and recklessly and spending it recklessly. The best thing to do is to spend in areas that would provide more income and more taxes. That is where this government is pushing our money into. And you can see what we did previously, even before we left government, where we invested our monies. Atuabo Gas, Tema Port, Accra International Airport, several important ventures area. Tema Port, I've mentioned it. Rich Hospital, Greater the Legon Medical School. All these things were capital investments that can generate money to pay for themselves. Now we have come back to power, and we say we are not going to invest in things that would not cause us to gain any benefit from it. One, the ministers has ensured that he put in place mechanisms that no CEO or no board or no entity can just get up and say, I'm giving a contract to this person without recourse as to whether you have money or you don't have money. So we are controlling what we call the expenditure. We have to have the money available, projected money available, before we commit ourselves into spending. That will cause the country to reduce the debt that we have, because if you give out contracts so much and we owe people, we have to pay a lot. And this brings me to one important thing, that is about the way we've been able to reduce our debt to about 45% to GDP. Do you know what is meant by that? The more we owe people, we owe the external investors, the more we owe Ghanaians, the more interest we need to pay monthly for that. So if you owe somebody 20 billion, the interest you pay for a 20 billion, is that the same thing as paying an interest for 10 billion? So what has the government done? Paying most of the debts to take us out of the chunk status in which we were. And as a result of that, now we have been classified to be our debt has been classified to be stable and can withstand shocks. Meaning that previously, we couldn't withstand shocks, we could collapse at any time. Now, paying most of the debts that we'll be able to pay has freed us the space and has upgraded us in a way that external investors now have confidence in the country and are willing And have now even opened the gate for us to go to the international market to borrow, something we could not do. So one important factor of a good manager of an economy is to ensure that your debts are well controlled so that you don't have too much interest to pay on loans. That money that can be used to invest in something else would have gone to pay for loans if we haven't reduced interest for loans, if we hadn't reduced the debt that we owe to people. So to me, don't say that we've not done anything. We've done prudently well by reducing the debt we owe to investors, by ensuring that at least we are able to generate more money and invest it prudently. Has the government not promised to set up agri-mechanized centers? And has even devoted money, which you are complaining that there's discrepancy. The government is investing 550 million into what? Into agri-mechanized centers, which my constituency is going to benefit from it. In that way, we are able to produce the food that you say is not there to serve this country. You are complaining that food is expensive. The same time, in the same vein, you are complaining that farmers have a glut in their houses and they can't sell. The reason why food items are expensive is that people want to eat polished rice. They want to eat Taiwan tomatoes. Ghanaians are producing tomatoes now. The minister has ensured that he got a very good breed of tomatoes into Ghana, and very soon you see the glut of tomatoes in this country. Poultry is producing so much that eggs are now being exported to Burkina Faso.
Which of the poultry? Eggs are being exported to Burkina Faso.
Now,
which of the poultry?
There's a glut.
There's a glut in eggs that is being exported. How much is an egg now? Price of eggs has gone down.
It's being sold for 5 cedis.
5 cedis. This morning.
Prices of eggs have gone down.
3, 4, 5. 10
Even
cedis in the
national service
traffic.
personnel are producing eggs and selling them. Eggs are available. You see, one issue we have in this country.
Because they're still selling for 5 cedis.
The problem we have in this country is our retailers. It's our retailers.
No.
Hasn't the interest rate gone down and exchange rate gone down? Have you seen any price reduction?
That's artificial exchange rate, so...
It's not an artificial exchange rate. It's not artificial. That is the real exchange. Even if you want to check the growth in this country, they say our growth is not as a result of what? Inflation. It's as a result of output. Economists have said it. Our growth now in Ghana is as a result of output, not as a result of inflation.
Which output?
Which of the outputs?
Output in production.
No,
output in services.
No.
Gold is it not a product?
You export gold and you make money and
if you knew that Wuntumi could mine very well, why didn't you
export gold?
Wuntumi could mine very well.
Gold.
Why
There's
didn't
no
you export the
correlation
gold?
between your
So
gold.
please,
Look.
allow me to talk.
Respectfully, sir.
You want to ask me a question?
No, right. Proceed.
You see,
I'll
economists have stated, and I'll repeat it, that our growth now to 6 point something is a result of production. It's not as a result of inflation.
That growth is what has been said that
Yeah.
it doesn't translate directly to jobs. And so we're seeing growth in areas which don't directly create jobs for young people.
Right.
And so, yes, the Ghanaian economy is growing. There is growth in oil sector has been on a decline. Has been on a decline for some time.
Yes, we'll take it out.
And so growth in gold,
yes,
and some of the other extractives, right? But for oil sector, those are not creating new jobs. It's just investments which are coming through and the likes. That's not creating jobs. And the argument is that the growth should correspond with job creation. That will begin to make people feel it a bit more in their pockets.
Mawena, you don't rush when you are stabilizing the economy. You don't rush to employ people and create redundancies.
I like this.
Please. If I have a company that has been so degraded and I pick it up to mold it up, I don't rush to employ people recklessly into places that would only cause consumption and siphoning of that little money. I would rather create a stable environment to allow growth. The economy has become stable that business people can now grow. The businesses can now grow. You don't rush to put money and just employing people. The environment has been created for private business. The private businessman to expand. That's why inflation has gone down. That's why the interest rate has gone down. For them to be able to access funds to grow into. So to me, whilst you are stabilizing the economy, you can't rush to say you are taking 1,000 people for jobs. Jobs are being created. At least people are being recruited to services. That is for the government side. But for the private sector, if you don't create an enabling environment for the private sector to come in, definitely they are not going to employ people for you. And that is what government is making to stabilize, to create the enabling environment for them. When we start the agri mechanized centers, people are going to be employed. Let them start procuring the equipment and start expanding. The roads that we are constructing, are they not going to employ people? They are employing people. And that is serious investment. The Accra-Kumasi highway that they are going to construct, is it not going to employ people? Definitely it's going to employ people. The Atuabo, the new gas plant that they are going to construct and establish, is it not going to employ people? The palm oil plantations that they are planned to establish, is it not going to employ people? Ato Forson, first of all, ensured that he made the economy stable, and he has brought it to a stability that he wants to sustain it. Now he's now going to push money into the projects that and policies that we think that can absorb people, and that definitely would absorb people. So don't be rushing that we should employ to work where. Just like they are making complaints about comparing the building of markets to building of schools, of building of hospitals. You see, what is his name? The minority leader made a comment, which I think that I've always told them that building hospitals is not like building market, and the two are entirely different. If you have money and you go and build so many hospitals, you need the right human resource to man those facilities. Do we have the right human resource, the number adequate to even manage our current hospitals? You go and build 110 hospitals in the country when you don't even have staff to manage the current hospitals. What did this government do? Yes, you have done something. We'll continue with 35 of them. Money has been allocated for the 35 to be completed. This is in resonance with the number of staff we think we have now, whilst we train staff before we continue building more hospitals. But for markets, I'm telling you, you get people trading everywhere. And if you have markets, you can get taxes. And if you have taxes, that is where the economy will grow. So many district assemblies don't have right markets to be able to get taxes, even internally generated funds to run, because people sell everywhere. But if you are able to concentrate them at a place that you can tax them, the local assemblies can raise funds to be able to run the assemblies very well. So don't make those comparisons that, why are you not completing hospitals, 110 hospitals, and you are rushing to build markets? Because you have people ready to run the markets, but you don't have people ready to run the hospitals. I am a medical doctor, and I'm a health administrator, and I can tell you, we have only 14,000 doctors in this country. Woefully inadequate for this country. What we need to do is to expand our medical schools, which this government is doing. Bolga is going to become a teaching hospital. Wa is becoming a teaching hospital. Sunyane is a teaching hospital. And we are expanding the numbers of those who can go to medical school for training to come and run our hospitals. We don't run to build hospitals when you don't have the needed human resource. That was a miscalculation policy your government did by starting to build so many hospitals. I am not saying that we don't deserve hospitals, but we have to build the hospitals to commiserate with the numbers of people who can run the hospitals, or else they become what? Redundant, and they become white elephants. So to me, the economy has actually been stabilized. Let's now see how government can maintain it so that in the nearest future, in the next budget, we now see a good push into developing, into employment, into expanding production, so that this country can really make good benefit of the stability that Ato Forson and the government has brought us so far.
Absolutely. I must say that Ebo Bachman is joining us as well this morning. He's a Deputy Communications Director of the United Party. I'm just going to pick his thoughts as well on the budget, and then I'll come back for final words on the budget, and then we make progress. Ebo, we had the Finance Minister yesterday. Criticism is that this is not reflecting in the lives of the ordinary Ghanaian. These nice headline numbers that we're seeing. Is that a sentiment you share? That, look, as much as these numbers may look good, the expectation is that it should translate a bit more, because ginger, a small piece now is 5 cedis amongst other things.
Yeah, 1.5 years after taking over a troubled economy, I was not really expecting much. I mean, to be honest with you, because when you have taken over a troubled economy, the most important thing to do is to stabilize that economy. I mean, that one, nobody can argue about it. Because you can't move from instability to expansion. No. You can't do that. What you can do is to stabilize the situation. Then, even after stabilizing the situation, it's always been my worry that we rush into expansion without protecting the stabilization. So that has been the problem. That's why we've gone to the IMF 17 times. Because we manage the economy politically. We want to manage the economy to satisfy the voter. We want to manage the economy in response to what the opposition is saying. And so because of that, we rush to do a lot of things and we end up going back to the IMF. So, but what I told yesterday from Dr. Ato Forson was very fantastic, to be honest with you. I saw what I've always been yearning for, that there should be protection of the economy, the stability of the economy. And if you look at the things I've said, if you want to protect any economy or preserve or sustain any economy, there are things you need to do. First, you have to lift or reduce debt pressure. Debt puts pressure on an economy. And if you look at, if you listen to him yesterday, how he's been able to manage our debt situation is fantastic. The fact that he has even started putting money in the sinking fund for GDP payment 2027-2028 is also another fantastic decision by the finance minister. Apart from reducing the debt pressure on the economy, the next thing you need to do also reduce or protect the economy from corruption. From corruption, expenditure leakages. So the establishment of Value for Money Office, the Fiscal Council, and also commitment authorization. These are the things we need to do. And we're not doing them to protect the economy from reckless expenditure, leakages, corruption. Normally, have you noticed that normally when we're discussing the economy, we don't mention corruption. But the major problem of Ghana's economy has been corruption. So if you have a minister who is disciplined, who wants to ensure value for money, who wants to make sure that before you make any, you commit the government to any expenditure, come for authorization. Fantastic decision. And another one that we need to do, which also I saw, even though I think I was not fully satisfied, but I saw the effort was building buffers or buffer around the economy to make it resilient, to make it robust, to make it capable of, withstanding external shocks. Because you just came from an instability situation. Protect the stability. Are you getting it? You just stabilize the economy. Protect it before you launch out to expand the economy. And that is what I saw. That is why our import cover is now about five months.
5 months. It's 5 point something.
We need to do more. So let's look at the forex buffer. Let's look at fuel buffer. Fuel buffer. How do we store fuel to the point that if there's instability or if there are external shocks, we can still survive as a nation without increasing our fuel prices? Strategic reserves we need to have as a people. And I'm saying that, you see, one thing about global crude oil prices is that there are certain prices below which they will never fall. So there's a minimum price. If they get there, they will not go down no matter what. So at that point is when you begin to store as a nation. Strategic. As a national security issue. Store enough so that when prices go up, you can still survive on what you have stored for a long time. So that is another thing that we need to do. That one, I will plead with the minister, with the government, to consciously do that to protect the economy from external shocks. Then another one, food. My brother, what kills us in this country in terms of cost of living. Food. In the Bible, when Joseph went to Egypt, of all the dreams in this world, do you know the dream God gave?
The famine.
Yes, the famine dream. Store enough because famine is ahead of you.
But after a year and 6 months, government interventions in agriculture should begin to yield some fruit. We've seen one planting season already. There's another. We should be seeing enough in terms of food production.
I think last year, food production was good.
Good, very good.
We had gluts. People were complaining. Last year was good. This year, I'm told the farming season has just started. That's what I'm told. The point I'm making is that buffer stock. We don't want anybody to go and sit there and do whatever. Are you getting it? We want somebody who will go and set buffer stock and make sure that
It's buffer.
it's buffer. We are buffering. Are you getting the point? So these are the things I want the government to do. In addition to what I saw yesterday, fantastic Ato Forson. Quintessential Ato Forson. The way he has handled the economy. Even the opposition could not but to agree with him that Ato, you have done so well. Except that they didn't want to say it because of politics. But Ato, so far, Ato is really forcing. Let's accept it. But what to do from now is, for me, what is important. I've told you, you don't rush into expansion.
Right.
But at the same time, you also don't leave it like that. So the government has created an enabling environment for the private sector. The private sector, the environment is better than what it used to be. It used to be an environment full of, it was a toxic environment. So inflation was up there, interest rate was over 30%, the cedi was wobbling. Now, all these indicators are doing better now. Today you can go to the bank and take interest rate at 15, 16%. That is huge in terms of cost of capital. So the government has done something. It still wouldn't make our producers competitive. Let me say this, because if you look at what is happening in other African countries, they are enjoying single-digit interest rate. But it is better than when MPP was in power. That one, it has to be said. So the private sector would also have to take advantage. But I'm told that the banks are giving the money to the traders because they know they can easily get the money back. They are not giving to the producers because they think it's going to take a long time. My point is that the government must sit down with the banks. These days, the banks have been making profits. As a policy, the government must sit down with the banks so that 5% of their profits can be given to specific producers in this country for export and import, substitution. So that, yes, we are selecting maybe 100 producers who produce different products for export. Give the loan to them at 5% or 6%. Government can do that.
Right.
As a matter of policy, Bank of Ghana can, and the finance minister can together sit with the banks. NIB, for example, MPP nearly, not MPP, Kenofrata nearly collapsed because they had the intention to buy it. But Ato Forson,
They had the intention to buy the bank.
Ato Forson has.
I don't have evidence. I don't have evidence.
So why would Ken want to collapse NIB? By depriving them of the resources, NIB nearly collapsed. And the Kenofrata, why did they do that?
Some of this business
But the point is that Ato Forson, Dr. Ato Forson has resuscitated NIB. Look, you can sit down with them and ask them 5% of your profit should be given to specific producers in this country at interest rate of 5% or 6% or below 10%, and it will help to boost production in this country, in agriculture and also in industry. So I think so far so good, but we still have a long way to go. So far, so actually, Ato Forson has not run away. He's still in town.
Fad, quick rebuttals in 2 minutes, and then we can switch lanes to another matter.
I still want to dwell on the living condition of the Ghanaian people. Doctor made an impression that it is because of the Ghanaian people wanting a certain product from some location. That's what Doctor said, right? Today, it is much cheaper to import into this country than to produce. Do you know that? Today.
Yes,
cost of production is high.
So importation does not even increase cost of living in Ghana today.
It does.
Respectfully, Doc, let me proceed. So what we are trying to say is that all these figures looks good on paper. But when you go down there, the Ghanaian young man who you promised 133 is not seeing it. The Ghanaian young man who this morning has taken time off his busy schedule to listen to this show is expecting you to tell him that there's a job coming. But if you tell him that we are in a condition we cannot employ and the previous administration was bad, the previous administration in its worst form was able to pay cocoa farmers in this country. Never in the history of this country did we wake up one day.
30%.
Oh, please, respectfully.
30%.
Never in the history of this country.
70%.
Never in the history. Oh, don't we allow you to make your point, but don't be uncomfortable with others.
No, I'm not.
Never in the history of this country have we witnessed cocoa farmers, our cocoa farmers, who through their sweat, our economy grows. Never in the history of this country has there been that a cocoa farmer, after giving their beans to government for 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, they've not been paid. And today, you sit here proudly, tell me that this economy, which is only good on paper, is better than the previous economy. That's the same. Today, nurses has worked for 13 good months. You are aware, dog. They've not been paid. For the first time, we had University of Ghana lecturers complaining that they've not been paid. For the first time. Yet you sit here and want to create the impression that all looks good on paper. We hear you. Keep deceiving yourselves and your followers that it looks good on paper, inflation is single digit. If inflation is single digit, the young man who goes to the market with his income that you claim that you've protected, that you claim there's a value because there is no frequent changes in prices, that's what you said, that you are pushing forward this morning. The young man with that same money goes to market with all your inflation you've made mention this morning, is still struggling to buy 100 Ghana cedi tomato to go and prepare his stew for the week because 100 Ghana cedi tomato will be given 5 pieces. That is the conditions on the ground. And these are the lived experience of the Ghanaian people. So respectfully, if we cannot assure them that this is what is coming, we should not insult them in their pain, dog. We should not do that. Respectfully. Right. If we keep doing this, and just like you said, we are politicians. When the shoes is on the other foot, you hear these figures. Like you see the way he went ahead with his figures, beautifully done. But the reality is that we agree that you inherited an economy with liabilities and assets. Just like we inherited an economy with liabilities and assets in 2016 from John Dramani Mahama. We inherited similar things. We paid legacy debts. We paid debt that were huge when we took over in 2017. We never complained. So stop the complaints and get the job done. Thank you very much, Marwan.
Right, Doc, quick rebuttals, and then we'll switch.
In fact, what I would like to say is that Ato Forson has done well. The government has done well. We've been disciplined, and we have invested strategically. Ato Forson is trying to ensure that taxes are really collected. Remember, he said that there are people who take VAT money and they don't give it to government. He's coming out with the software, with the program to ensure that all monies collected for government are lodged into the government coffers to increase the income for government. He's also said that they are going to work very hard to ensure that any money that we want to spend would be assessed to see whether it really has value for money. That would ensure that the little we have, we're not a prosperous, a very rich country. So we have to ensure that any money that we want to invest really has value for it. Let me go back to the buffer stock issue he's talking about. I remember even in Parliament, MPs are calling on government to come to their constituency and buy grains that are in excess. They are calling. So in this case, will you say the agri minister is not working hard? How did they get that productivity done? It is because of the way this time we have fertilizer not going out and carried by donkeys to cross Togo and Burkina Faso. Under some regimes, some people's fertilizer were going out and with donkeys were carrying fertilizer.
Do you know why they are not buying their products up there?
Can you stop interrupting me? What our advice and support my minister is that we spread the tax network, because many business people are complaining that the very people paying the taxes are the very people who are bedding all the time. Property rates, we should ensure that we collect property rates. I will advise my minister to ensure that we collect property rates. We should spread the tax network in a way that everybody should be paying tax in this country. I'll give you one example about somebody. I went to buy a product in a shop, and it's written there that collect VAT receipt. I asked them for a VAT receipt. They say here they can't give me VAT receipt because I didn't ask for it early. Because they had already given me this other receipt, they can't give me another receipt. I went to GRA to report the company and ask them to report to me what they have done to the company up to today. It means that we are actually sleeping on getting taxes for the government. So I would, as a business person, I would call on the government, my government, to really look at how we can distribute the tax, we can spread the tax network so that many people will pay in taxes. So that property rate alone, somebody calculated that we can make almost 20-something billion in a year if we really want to be serious with property rate. And that can help us. But Ghanaians, we have one thing. We don't like to pay taxes. And I don't blame them because we pay the taxes and governments don't use it for what it is meant for. But this government has come to ensure that whatever we take from you, we deploy it into what we promised that we're going to use it for. We are putting Get Fund money into education. We are putting National Health Insurance money into health. We are going to put road fund money into roads. So if government is coming to tax you, please pay the taxes. Other countries, people pay taxes and see it being used. This government is going to use your money for what it is meant for. So if we are coming with any tax, even though there's no new tax being introduced now,
it's not true.
Please, let's pay it and ensure that the government would use that money to grow the economy so that we can all benefit from it.
Absolutely.
At least one thing I can be sure is that Ato Forson will not use our money to build the National Cathedral.
That's one for sure.
Some of these statements are very reckless.
97, my brother, $97 million.
Some of these
dollars. You think it's a small money? $97 million.
Allow
$97 million.
Some of these statements
to create a hole.
Are so reckless.
To create a hole.
You sit here and make business allegations.
God tell him he needed a place to sleep.
These are business allegations. And do not allow it to go.
Do not allow it to go.
These are business allegations. Statement you make here, you cannot substantiate. What is all these statements?
No,
you sit here and make references that are relevant to this.
Let's calm down.
$97 million.
Control him the way he talks.
Taxpayers' money.
It's becoming very
What cities? I'm not talking about cities. $97 million of taxpayers' money was used.
Where are the figures?
To create that big hole there. And you said we shouldn't say
show me the figures. Where is the figure? Show us the figure of that example.
A few of you have been sharing your thoughts with me.
You see, it's not. Doc was talking about. You see, Doc was talking about issue of revenue. Fantastic. We need to expand
revenue generated fraud. If you don't know, Doc, talk about it. Why are you talking about?
We need to do more, but also look at the expenditure.
There's falling revenue generation.
The way Ato is managing the expenditure side of the economy has been fantastic. Let's all admit it. People say he's not spending. Yesterday, he told the whole Ghana that he's spending.
Where?
But he's spending prudently. He's not using $4 billion for NAPCO. Useless policy like that. A policy that gives only temporary employment for 1 year, then go and sit home. Every month I'll give you 700 Ghana. 1 year, go and sit home. And you spend over 4 billion Ghana cedis on that. When that money could have been used to create jobs. Can you imagine if the money has been given to even producers at interest rate of 5%? Do you think what people would have gotten permanent jobs to do? That's what I'm saying, that it's not just about revenue. You look at, it's also about how you spend what comes in. And I'm saying that Ato Forson is being prudent. That's why people have been complaining. But it's good because, as I said earlier, when you have just come out of economic situation like MPP handed to this government, you don't rush. You stabilize, then you protect what you have stabilized before you launch out to expand the economy. And that is exactly what is being done.
Fair enough. A number of you have sent comments. This one from Kikuju says, Marwin, as we celebrate the success of the fiscal discipline, let's not forget that the most recent Auditor General's report indicates that the discipline touted is still not sufficient if we have corrupt leakages. Safiamo says a lengthy one, which he sends. Says if government spending means Exim Bank giving one to me billions so without paying, then I prefer we don't spend. Yeah, so the crux of the message is that the NPP should give Ghanaians a break. Is the argument he makes? I'm on Facebook as well. A number of you have been sharing thoughts from there as well. Let me see. Noah the Ark Builder says so he's giving shouts to NPP. Is it NPP Syrian?
3FM
to Mr. Nana K and to the Elephant family. Mobile serial callers in Texas, he's giving them shouts. And then some of the messages I cannot read because people decide to degenerate everything into insults. We can share our opinions without insulting people. So let's do well to do that when we're sharing our thoughts, right? So this one, William Nyako says, good morning, Mawena. It is unfortunate that Ghana has many highly educated economists who frequently share their insights and opinions whenever economic challenges arise. When these discussions are often extensive and thought-provoking, they rarely seem to translate into practical solutions or meaningful change. In my view, one of the greatest obstacles to Ghana's development is not a lack of knowledge or expertise, but rather our attitudes, political divisions, and tribal sentiment. Until we learn to prioritize national interests over personal, partisan, or ethnic loyalties, achieving sustainable and meaningful development will remain a significant challenge. That's William Nyako. Doctor is a sociologist. William Nyako sending that one in. So what? I'm going to rest on the budget and its conversations and move us along because on other fronts we know that an NDC is a ward or branch executive was picked up for insulting the NPP's flag bearer. And Dr. Bawumia came out and said, please do not prosecute him in my name. I am not interested in a prosecution for a speech of that manner and to allow him be justified, particularly I'm around a time where the conversation or the suggestion is that persons are being picked up for what it is that they are saying. The NPP flag bearer says, "Don't prosecute anybody in my name because I've not lodged any formal complaint." Ebo,
That's quite interesting, right? But so let's look at a bigger picture. There's always a bigger picture. The kind of indiscipline that is, making its way into our politics is quite disturbing. Growing up as a young politician, we didn't experience this kind of politics where people think insulting elderly people, even the sitting president or former president, insulting, using unprintable words that cannot be used on your station this morning, is something that you need to do to be known or to be accepted in your political party, especially when after such incidents have happened, they get special hugs. Elderly, some of their party elderly people give them a special hug on camera as a way of telling you that you've done well. It's becoming unbecoming. And I'm one person who believes in discipline. And I've always said that I wish I were a lawyer. I wish I were a judge. Like those people who have been doing that, when you come before me and the law says I should give you, the maximum is 10 and the minimum is 5 or 2, I always give you maximum. Because we need to discourage that thing in our body politic. It is not something, you see, we are all brought up from a home.
92.7.
When my mom was, bringing me up, certain values were inculcated in me. Certain principles were inculcated in me. And so, to publicly and openly use certain words, like these young ladies and young men have been using against political opponent, it is alien to me. I really don't get it. It's quite unfortunate. And so, for Dr. Bawumia to say action should not be taken in his name, I don't know whether if somebody steals my, for example, somebody steals my phone and the police arrest the person, even though the person is a criminal, I can say, or is deemed to be criminal, I can say, no, police, leave him to go, so that he can continue to go and steal other people's phone. Well, I don't know whether that is what should be done. Or if somebody has done something against the state, crime is committed against the state, even though it is committed against an individual. That is why when somebody steals your phone and you report to the police, it is not your case against the person, it's the state against the person. And so I think Dr. Bawumia, yes, I know Dr. Bawumia would always want to do things, he likes those kind of things, He would always want to do things just to, go and
do
walk.
things.
He always want to be in the news. He'll go and walk some few areas, and when there's flood or this one, he knows.
But he knows the
conversation has been that. So all those who have been insulting the president and other, they have been picked up.
Well, so what you're saying? He's trying to score political points with this. Is that the argument you're making?
That is exactly what I wanted to say. So if you have said it, that is okay for me.
No, I'm asking because you're saying he's.
Dr. Bawumia. I know Dr. Bawumia.
But that's not entirely fair to him because he believes persons should not be prosecuted over such claims.
This is nothing but politics.
And that is fair enough for someone like that.
And the MPP, a lot of people were arrested. Dr. Bawumia didn't say anything. A lot of people were arrested, and the MPP, he didn't say anything. He didn't say they should be left to go scot-free. So this time, because of the conversation has been that people are calling on the president.
Maybe at that time, he couldn't come out to say it. Now he can.
He can. Why?
The saying is only a fool doesn't change their mind, right? I'm just saying something that if today he believes it's wrong, he has every right to say it's wrong.
But I think such behaviors should be punished. We shouldn't let people go scot-free because of politics.
Because they've insulted someone?
If the law says, no, is it within the law? What the action of the police, was it within the law, confines of the law? If it's within the confines of the law, then so be it. If by using certain words against people, the law frowns upon it, and it's something deemed criminal or punishable, let's punish. Let's punish, because that's the only way. You see, even in America, right? Even America,
I've seen that someone was prosecuted for threatening the president and all of that. So fair enough. Fad,
let's look at a bigger picture.
Your flag bearer says he's a believer in free speech. The NDC branch organizer should be let go. He's not interested in any prosecution in the state.
Before I even go there, I think it's important I say this, and I have to say it with no fear of anything. And the truth is that I find it very difficult to accept some of the things my brother Ebo says. And though I'm not surprised entirely that he's making some of this assertion, because what do you expect somebody who feeds on the leftovers of government communication machineries? What do you expect somebody to come and say on a platform, feeds on the leftover from government communication? For every respectfully, let me proceed on this matter. Let me proceed. I'm going to make this statement.
I can feed you every day.
Somebody,
respectfully, I cannot allow you
on the leftover of government communication. Sits here, question the person.
Fad, your microphone is off. Fad.
The person of the no. See how you went with it. Such recklessness.
No, Fad, relax. Your microphone is off for now. What I am saying is that when he was speaking in relation to Dr. Bawumia, I intervened and I said he cannot say that. He cannot say that. He cannot say that. And I'm saying no. I'm making the point. Relax. That you should not attack your fellow colleague on the panel. You have to retract and no to say that he's feeding off. Fad. I'm going to pull up the fader again, and I'm just going to ask that let us not proceed on a tangent of directly attacking our colleagues on the platform. No. I'm just
this person on the platform and try to make ridicule of his personality. That is okay. No. And if I put it to him that he is feeding on government leftovers, and as a result of that, he comes on platforms and start to make this noise, thinking that he's making some system. So now can I proceed?
Let us. Can I proceed? Some of the things.
Can I proceed?
I will let you proceed, but I'm just saying that.
I don't care. I don't have to know who you are. I'm telling you the truth.
The tangent.
You can sit here and make those business statements and
the tangent you're seeking to proceed on. The tangent you're seeking to proceed on is not fair. You understand? Because no, Fad. Let's what I'm saying is that Ebo, please. What I'm saying is that let's not proceed on a tangent where we are attacking. If I don't intervene, then you can say that I've allowed him. I didn't allow him to go.
Who feeds on the leftover of the
I'm sorry, Fad. You cannot. I'm just saying that. Just take that back. I beg you.
What's the big deal?
I beg you.
Coming from somebody.
Don't repeat it.
Dog wouldn't make such statement.
Repeat it.
Dog here would never.
If I push
make
you
such
to
statement about Mahamudu Bawumia personality.
Relax.
So if I push you to
what specific statement are you saying he made which ridiculed Dr. Bawumia? For which reason you're wanting to attack his personality?
What did I say? He said, number one, I'm going to tell you that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia came out with this statement because of who he is. He just wants to go out there and just do a walk. That's what he was trying to say. No, relax. Oh,
okay.
Relax.
I asked you to say what specifically he said, which is
go out there to engage in walks for what? He ended by saying what? For public what? Attention. As if Sebi, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia doesn't know what it means that after a flood in Accra, he goes out to sympathize with the Ghanaian people who were affected with floods. And to you make ridicule of that engagement. To you call that a public show? No. And you tell me I don't have every right in my senses to tell him that statement is coming from him because he's overfeeding.
No, but that's not an insult.
That is ridicule of the people who were affected, number one, and the person who went to sympathize with them. Number two, you don't do that. You don't do that.
No, Fad.
So
one thing I do not agree or I don't allow is insult and
I've not insulted him. I have not insulted anybody on their
going
platform.
After people's personalities.
I've not insulted
That's
him.
why I intervened and I asked a specific question.
You
lied.
You understand? That's why I said that you can't say this is coming from someone who feeds off.
Is it not true?
It's not
true. Isn't it true that he is government communicator on your platform?
He's where is the evidence to suggest Ebu is?
Isn't it true?
No,
that he's a government communicator.
No, when you say isn't it true?
You want me to provide the evidence?
Yes, provide me evidence.
Well, let's meet in court. I'll do that. Can I proceed on
It's not about me. That's what I'm saying.
Can I proceed on Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia's statement? Can I proceed on Dr. Bawumia's statement?
That score by attacking him. So just take that back. I beg you. Just take that back.
Humbly withdraw it.
So he feed on government communications machinery is what you don't want me to say. So let me say an opposition party who finds its right to attack his other opposition parties. Do you want me to take it that way?
No, if you said that, that's.
Do you want me to take it that way? Do you want me to take it that way? So an opposition party who attacks another opposition party. Do you want me to put it that way?
What I didn't want you to say is a tangent you were on. And I just want you to take that back so that we proceed. So just take that back and then we make progress.
I'm not surprised he decided to make.
Just take it back.
I'm going to take it back.
Just take it back. And then we make progress.
An opposition party who finds it's right to attack another opposition party when issues like this come up. So I've taken that one out of the statement.
So just make progress for me briefly into it. We've spent a lot of because the comment you were making wasn't an insult. So just respond to.
I never insulted him. I told him the truth in his face. No, he didn't like it. So this is what I want to say. You see, we live in a country where hypocrisy has taken center stage of our political communications. See, what is happening currently? Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is saying that I do not want to be an interest or a part of this persecution of people because you think, they have attacked somebody. No.
We've seen how you people in the past, in your opposition days, gave your platforms and encourage your people to go after people in this country, to a point where we had a member of your party who claims today on his platform that he made President John Mahama president, went all out attacking a judge for a ruling he made in a corruption-related case. You remember that story? Where that court even gave a bench warrant for his arrest. And when you took over power, what did you do? You gave this person a VIP treatment, brought him down, went to court to quash that decision made by the High Court. This is how you try to encourage and embolden people to go out and attack people. And when today the foot is on the other side, there are a few of excesses from our party members, you go after them. Look at the lady, they got jailed for a year. A lady was arrested within a day or two, before we could realize she's been put before a judge and she's been given 1 year jail term. And as to try to neutralize the attacks or the condemnation on government, you go after your own person, arrest one of your branch organizer, put him before court, and tell us that you are trying to equalize the situation. We don't want it. Dr. Bawumia do not want to be a part of this. The NDC government can decide to prosecute everybody in this country. This morning, they can pick all of us up, prosecute all of us.
I'm not sure
and
that's a subject.
let me proceed. Mauna, let me proceed. They can do it anyhow they want to go because they've benefited. If you want a political organization who in the past has benefited significantly from politics of insult and attacks, it's the NDC administration. It's a fact about it.
And you equally arrested persons during your time in the last 8 years.
Let's count them. Let's count.
No, whether
in the space of 8 years, let's count it. And in the space of 18 months, let's count it.
A direct question can be asked. A direct question can be asked.
That is why it becomes scary.
If you also did not do same, which is why Victor Kojoga Daudu says that both parties use this to galvanize your party base.
If we want to do this and do the equalization, then we can also do the counting. Then we'll know the numbers. Let's do that.
All right.
If we want us to do the equalization, then let's do the counting. And I'll tell you that in the space of 18 months,
we've seen quite a number of arrests.
We've seen quite a number of arrests for people speaking up. Let me end on this. I'm not a lawyer. I've heard the lawyers, and I think one of the famous lawyers on their platform, I'm talking of the media general, is Martin Kpebu, who has constantly said that insulting the president is not an offense.
Martin Kpebu is not a member of the NDC.
I didn't say, oh please, I never said that. I said a member of a very famous face on their platforms. Okay. That's what I said. Okay. Consistently says that insulting the president is not an offense.
Oh, absolutely.
So we should not. It has never been. So we should. But
I need to pick.
Does not want to have anything to do with their
threatening the president.
What is threatening? You will come and sit here and when I say this, you keep going this. What is threatening?
Doc, you have the final word.
And from where he started, it is true that insulting the president is not an offense.
Yeah.
But insulting anybody at all in this world is morally unright. It's not correct. In our society,
Dr. Bawumia was not a human being.
In our society, even when I was a child, if you insult an elderly person, anybody sitting close could whip you. And that was the moral education and discipline they gave to us. I can say anything about Dr. Bawumia, but I wouldn't use words that are printable, that are not accepted by our culture, our moral upbringings, and in the rest. So to me, Martin Kpebu is right, but let's not encourage such things to happen. If somebody saw you in a market misbehaving when we were children, he could whip you and your father will even come and buy pito for him for disciplining you. That is how they brought us up. And that is how we must continue. And I think Bawumia also suffered the same thing when he was a child. He couldn't disrespect elders. He couldn't use unprintable words against elders. But he's not interested in this case. Doesn't mean that the person didn't do wrong. That is one thing. It doesn't mean they didn't do wrong. He's trying to show that he's somebody who can forgive. He's somebody who is very passionate about the lives of others. But you see, I appreciate him for that. And that's a very good lifestyle we want our leaders to adopt. To be forgiving, to be loving, to be caring, to be understanding, and to be compassionate with people. I would like him to be that magnanimous, to forgive all his opponents in his party and invite them to come and join him. to do his campaign.
Oh no.
Forgive forgive. When you were talking, I am very quiet. When you were talking, be tolerant.
Is there any fight in
Please
my
be
party?
tolerant. Be
He
very
was
tolerant.
quiet, so just allow him. We are about to wrap
But
up.
But allow him when he
4
drops
minutes,
information like
4
this, as if we are fighting our party.
I'm going to mention 16 names
As if we are fighting our party.
under the MPP who were arrested, detained for fighting for the right of Ghanaians, not even insulting. One, Caleb Kuda went to take pictures of cars that were parked and getting rotten, that Ghanaians, we use Ghanaian taxpayers' money to buy. He was beaten and detained.
3FM.
Captain Smart,
2.7.
for criticizing the government, was arrested several times, but Bawumia never uttered a word. Two, Oliver Baka, for standing firm for human rights and the rights of Ghanaians, was detained and molested. Bawumia never said, let him go.
Which of the Oliver?
Ralph Williams,
Seriously, dog.
reportedly arrested.
After blocking the 37 military hospital road, is that what you're trying to justify this morning?
When you were talking, I was quiet. Can you keep quiet?
Fad,
Can you be disciplined?
Fad, I beg you.
You see,
with this list.
Fad, dog.
You get heart attack, go. You can get heart attack,
Who
go.
went to block the 37 military hospital
Be
road?
careful, you don't get heart attack, go.
I covered. No, Fad.
And it's like you're
In
entertaining
fact,
it.
on that 37
You're
protest,
entertaining it.
I covered it.
You're entertaining it. The recklessness that happened that day.
I beg you, let him proceed
The
because.
Oh,
he
my
spoke.
winner.
I beg you. Let him
reckless
round
happened that
round
day.
up for me. Doc, finish for me so that we can make.
Ahmed
progress.
Swale, for investigating to know, for investigating corruption, ended his life. Bawumia never said anything to sympathize even with the family. Nicholas Moka, a Jimasa FM journalist, arrested and beaten by soldiers for filming the soldiers for misbehaving, for untoward behavior. Bawumia never said anything. I can mention all of them. Salamatu Mohammed, mother of four, arrested for wishing president to die. He was wishing the president to die. Bawumia didn't sympathize with him, but he was arrested and detained. So we have a long list here of things that happened under Bawumia as the vice president.
That's equalization.
It's not equal. No, I'm only trying to say that this time he has changed. I like the way he has changed. Things happened under him that he never complained. He never sought to sympathize with them. But now he has seen that what he did previously was not right. So now, because the person has insulted him, he thinks that no, they shouldn't do anything to him to prove to the world that he, Dr. Bawumia, has been a changed person. And I'm really happy. I would wish all our leaders would change like this, so that when they are insulting anybody, MPP shouldn't see it to be a problem. But me, I won't advise anybody to insult. But if they are insulting anybody in MPP, don't see it to be a problem. But to me, my advice to the youth of Ghana is that please criticize anybody you want constructively. Constructively. But don't use unprintable words that your church has not taught you to do that. Your mosque has not taught you to do that. Our local family leaders have not taught you that culture. Let's be cultured in criticizing people, but let's not use unprintable words. If Bawumia wants to forgive the person and the law can take the person up, the prosecutors have the right to implementing the law. To me, that is what I will say about Bawumia. I thank him for changing and making sure that he has forgiven.
Thank you very much. That's Fad Osman. He's a member of the NPP's communications team.
I just want to admonish my brother. I just want to admonish my brother.
Oh no, no,
you see, this politics, we don't do it.
As for this, we'll discuss it.
Can you get heart attack?
I'm not heart attack.
No, because the way you are behaving,
Dr. Thomas Anaba is member of Parliament for Garu, and Ebo Bachman is Deputy National Communications Director of the NPP.